as I'm filming this video, I look over and I see this sign. That's that Florida life. It's got gators everywhere. It's nuts. Alright, so today's video is over the Supra, and it's kind of like a checklist when it comes to wanting to go big turbo. A lot of people say they want to go big turbo and they're like, I don't know if I need this, what do I need, yada yada. So this is going to be kind of like a general video. I'm going to break it down into like, this is what's required, this is what's recommended, sort of thing. So I'm going to go ahead and pop the hood, because most of idle stuff's under the hood. So with the hood popped, I figured I'd probably be a good candidate to make a video like this, because I am big turbo and I have all the goodies and whatnot. So here we go. So the very first thing, obviously, if you want to go big turbo, you got to decide what kind of big turbo kit you want. There's multiple different options out there. For me, for instance, this is a KLM top mount. I mean, all the tuners recommend the KLM turbo kit. A lot of them say it spools the best. I don't know, I'm not a tuner. I just go by their recommendations. So I got the KLM. But there's different turbo kits out there. So you get your top mount, like a tubular style. I don't know if you'll be able to see it that much, but it's all tubes. And then you also have a top mount, such as a log style like Doc Race. And then you have, I think Big Boost makes a turbo kit to where it's like stock location, like it's down there. It's crazy, they can fit big turbos down there, it's wild. But there's a lot of different turbo options out there. A lot of them will have different pros and cons and whatnot. So that part's kind of up to you guys and what you guys want to get, different price ranges, everything. The next, probably most vital part is Reflex. So that's where we're adding more injectors to the car. So from factory, it comes with 6 injectors. When you do Reflex, you're adding another 6 injectors. So you have 6 for direct, 6 for port. This can get kind of confusing because there's so many different types of injectors out there you can run. There's so many different types of kits you can run. Like, I'm pretty sure there's like Reflex, and then there's like Max ECU that some people are running. Visconti's working on a kit. Like, there's so much stuff out there, and it can get very confusing. But this is pretty much a requirement if you want over 550, 600 horsepower. That's kind of where like they're like, all right, you need more fuel. So with a kit like Reflex, so I have Reflex, that's the kit name. I have it installed in the car, but it's up under there, like it's all tucked up under there. And then something like Reflex and Max ECU, all of them, they do multiple different things on top of just fuel injection. They go back for your add low pressure fuel pump. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So with something like this, there's different routes you can take. So like Radium makes a kit. I think Boost Logic makes a kit to where it's a rail that'll go like down here under your factory manifold, and it's got 6 runners, and then an injector will go in each of them, and that's what'll shoot out your fuel. Something like that's probably your cheapest route. Doing something like what I have, a manifold, that's more optional but recommended, because just this manifold itself is $4,000, but it has the equipment to make it a port injection kit, so then you don't need the rail. So with a manifold, you're gonna get cooler IATs and whatnot, but that part's up to you. I'm kind of putting that in the recommended optional section. You don't need it, but you're probably gonna want it if you want to push your power as much as you can. When it comes to injectors, pretty much everybody sticks with the same injectors. Pretty much everybody runs like ID 1050X's. They flow enough, and they offer, they're corrosion resistant, meaning they're capable of running E85. So you could pick up a pair of those, but in the end, getting the whole Reflex kit itself is easily like $2,000, and then the injectors, like, it's a very expensive thing to just pick up. The next thing I want to talk about is flex fuel. So I can't really show you guys this because my entire fuel system's custom by me, but normally you would see Supras with a little thing right here. The factory fuel rail would go like right here, and then it would go into there. Well, there'd be this little thing right here that'll be your flex fuel sensor. E85 will get you much more ethanol, which will give you a lot more power in the end. You're able to raise boost and all kinds of stuff. It's a lot cooler fuel and everything. However, when you get a E85 sensor, if you don't have the low pressure fuel pump, you really can't do a whole lot with it. So you have to get a low pressure fuel pump. There's a lot of low pressure fuel pumps kits out there. A lot of people go with Visconti. Visconti is a tried and true kit. Everyone runs Visconti kit. It's probably the most simple. You get in the fuel system, you add in another pump, it wires together, and then it goes down your factory fuel line, and it splits at the engine bay. There's also other kits like PFS, where it's like a whole new drop-in assembly. You take out your factory like fuel pump assembly, put in the PFS system, and that's it. There's kits like mine, where I'm running a Radium top hat, and then I ran PTFE lines all the way up to the engine bay. They're completely custom. I have no factory fuel line. My fuel system's wild. Multiple different kits, but you have to run a aftermarket low pressure fuel pump to take advantage of basically your entire fuel system. Your fuel system's a whole recommended thing. Really just get it all done at once, or you're kind of limiting yourself. Next is transmission. Transmission is actually something I haven't done yet. It's just so expensive. It's like $3.5, $4.5 grand for like a stage 1. And I'm going through Applied Torque Solutions eventually. Anywhere like 550 torque and above, like your trans is going to start slipping, and so it's pretty crucial. At a spot I'm at right now, I'm making roughly 550 torque on 93 octane on my big turbo kit. So right now I'm already at the limitations of my trans, and I'm not even tuned on E85 yet. I have to send my ECU back out. That's why. All right, next on the list, tire and wheels. This is something people often look over and they don't think about it. I'm running the ET Street SS's. These are Mickey Thompson's on some welds. These are MKV Supra spec wheels. And then these are 305 4517s. Now that I have a daily, once these go bad, I'm gonna put on ET Street R's. Because you see these are good for like rain, whereas the Street R's, basically, they can't touch anything but the driest of roads. So tires and wheels, highly recommend you guys get a good set of tire and wheels. It is gonna be expensive in the end, but it's something you're gonna need over stock power. The next one really sucks because it's like a stupid expense that no one wants to do, but you have to do it. ECU unlock and clone. Unfortunately, past June of 2020, Bosch started locking the ECUs to where they have to be unlocked by a place called Femto, that's over in Finland. So for us that are post June 2020, we have to send it over there, and it's expensive just to get unlocked to be able to run MHD or BM3, or we can go full clone, which means we need another ECU. So now we have 2 ECUs basically. That way we can run EQ Tech. And then for you guys pre-June of 2020, all you got to do is send it to like Titan Motorsports or Visconti, East Coast Supra, something like that, and it's like a couple $100. It's crazy. I've already sent my ECU off twice, and now I'm about to do it a third time here in about 2 weeks. The last thing on my like highly recommended list is you got to do something with the valve cover, the PCV system, whatever. So Visconti offers, okay, sorry, let me back this up. So from factory, the way the PCV system in this works is where these things are, it has like somehow, I have a video on it, so if you guys want to watch that video of me installing PCV pins. So there's holes in the runners of the engine. When you start making more boost will go up those holes and then hit the PCV system and try and go inside the valve cover. And if one of those PCV valves like fail, now you just put 20, 30, 40 pounds of boost in your valve cover, and you cracked your valve cover, and now you shoot oil everywhere, and now you just blew your engine because of like oil starvation. So not to scare y'all, it's pretty serious, but they kind of recommend those also over stock boost levels too. So they have multiple different solutions for it. So what I did is the PCV pins. So you just take your valve cover off, and you're able to put pins in where those 3 runners are, and it basically just blocks off the PCV system. So there's other kits like Visconti's kit where you replace the valve cover. He did something under the valve cover that blocks it off so that you don't have to do the pins. I think that's like $400 or $500. If you don't have a valve cover, it's like $800 or $900. The pins were $350. And then there's also another one from VTT. Their valve cover is completely billet aluminum. It's super nice, but I've heard fitment issues. I don't know for sure. I feel like it's just rumors. I don't know, but theirs is really cool, and I did want to buy it, but some people talked me out of it. Like, don't risk it, you don't want an oil leak on your valve cover, yada yada. But I did like their kit. It was completely billet, and they had like another section right here that was able to vent off pressure in the valve cover, instead of just like my one catch can for the oil cap, it would vent from 2 places. So that's pretty much it for the required. You don't really require a whole lot. I guess that is a lot. I mean, I guess it depends on how you look at it, but still, just in the required section, that's easily 15-20 grand. But now I'm going to kind of move on to the optional section, optional but recommended section. So for that, I'm going to start off with the CSF intake manifold, and then anything CSF, so like heat exchanger, your radiators, trans cooler, not needed but recommended. They cool your intake temps tremendously, cool down your coolant temps, cool down your trans temps. For me, I only have the intake manifold. I feel like that's the most vital. The heat exchanger that goes up front is important, but at the same time, it's not needed. I will get that heat exchanger and trans cooler one day. Not too worried about the coolant one. The next one is trans tune. They kind of call trans tunes like a band-aid for those that don't have a built transmission. Trans tune, they're able to mess with different things. There's like XHP, which offer like OTS tunes, and then there's also custom tunes, which I actually have a custom trans tune from Sutphen or something like that. Wow, it's really windy. It is really pretty up there though. It is scary that there's that gator sign. I keep looking around. See, like right there, do you guys see that? There's a big splash like right there. Could have been a gator. Oh, scary stuff. So I have a tune from Sutphen, which is a custom trans tune, where he does it to your mods. So it's like full bolt-ons, top mount turbo kit, stock trans, built trans, yada yada, where it's built to your car. And I think that was probably one of the best purchases I made for this car, was a custom trans tune. The car felt totally different after I did this little break-in. Next, we're going to the back of the car. Suspension isn't needed. If you guys follow Mikey Body, he has like one of the fastest quarter-mile Supras at the moment. He's on stock suspension. A lot of the fast Supras you see on TikTok and Instagram, they're on stock suspension. It's more so of a looks thing, but it can also help with weight, like distribution through pools and whatnot, getting you that squat and yada yada. But I mean, it looks good. I'm just gonna say that. Cat-back exhaust. Cat-back exhausts, don't really need them. They're expensive, but they've proven that the stock cat-back can actually go up to like 650 wheel and still be fine, because the stock exhaust is a 3-inch exhaust. So like for me, for instance, I have a single exit from SP1R where it goes to the turbo and it just goes back and it does a slow like whoop, and then right there, 3.5 inch all the way back, full titanium. Sounds great. I love this exhaust. Actually, a tuner, Sama, he didn't make a video, but he made a post about it where one of his people that he tunes had like a dual exit. It was a single to a dual. I don't know which one he's referring to. Could have been Boost Logic. That's like a really popular one. AWE, I don't know, HKS, whatever. But then he went and he did a tune through that one, and then he did a tune on the same car with a single exit, and it picked up like 60 wheel. So this car responds very well to single exit exhaust. This is pretty much it for this video. This is everything I recommend, but is optional. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Obviously, I have a car that is capable of a video like this, so I figured I'd give you guys some information and try and help you all out. So if you guys got any questions, let me know. Bye.